I can hear birds in the background. Whose birds do I hear? Somebody's got birds. Come on. Somebody's got a window open or you have pet birds. I love it.
There's a tree right outside my window and they love to hang out in there.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. All right. So I love it. So we are here. We are live. You guys got to hear the birds of Lisa. You guys, this is so cool. I love when I get to hear nature. When I'm tutoring you guys and I can hear like my students' birds, I think that's so cool. So I was actually tutoring students in Australia, and they had saved a pet bird from being able to, it was like hit by a car, and they were helping restore it back to life. And so they could like release it. And so I heard, but it wasn't just a regular bird, you guys, it was a parrot. Like it was like a fancy bird, like a bird that like not normal people like have inside of their house. And it was like, wow, like those just like fly around like your area. And they're like, yeah, we live in a rainforest. I'm like, I didn't even know there was a rainforest in Australia. So you get to hear my random babble here as we start on off. But today is really exciting because we are going to be talking about how to find students for your online tutoring business. And we're actually going to go a step further because sometimes it's not about what actions I should take. Sometimes it's the things that stop us and impede us from actually taking those actions. So today we're going to hear about what is working for two of our amazing tutors, Lisa Vistino, Alexa, and Wally. Open, or you have pet birds. I love it.
There's a tree right outside my window.
All right, somebody's talking. It's either on one of, oh, it started on mine again. Oh, that's awesome. Let's stop it. It started. All right, I'm going to exit on out over here, and hopefully that doesn't exit me totally out. We're good. Crazy. All right, I'm going to also do a refresh over here so that everything pops up on my other side and I can see the people that are coming on into the house. So here's what I would like you guys to do. If you are just joining us, please introduce who you are, where you're from, and what you specifically tutor. We've got Empower Mind, Chemistry Tuition. That is Graham Matthews. Hey, Graham, glad you're here. We got Simony here. Well done. Awesome. Glad you're here. We got Dea in the house. Woo woo. And we've got the online ESL mentoring program here, which is Danielle Didio. So glad that you guys are here. I love it. I love it. So introduce who you guys are to everybody. Oh, we got Carrie here in the house. Welcome, Carrie. She's Sally Cross, actually. So hello, Sally. Sometimes our names on our YouTube channel show up different than who we actually are. So it's really cool when you guys tell me who you are, because then I can make all those connections inside of my head. But what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be taking a look at which strategies are working to be able to get students for your online tutoring business. And both Lisa and Alexa have been getting students. And this is like huge, right? I think sometimes we just don't believe that we can even do this. And they're not getting their students in the typical places, you guys. Like they're not going where all the other tutors are. Okay. And that's really, really important, because if you don't want to play the game where you have to compete for prices and that kind of stuff, it's really important that you start making a name for yourself and putting yourself out there in other places so that you can get found for your tutoring services. Now, both of these people happen to be Tutorpreneur Hero Award winners too, you guys. So you've seen them before. Like they're not brand new faces to this channel, to our community. They're both Insider Secret Club members. I mean, they are all in with their tutoring businesses, which is so much fun. So we're going to start with Lisa. Hey, Lisa.
Hi, everybody. So happy to be here. Thank you again for having me on, Joanne.
I love this. And you were talking about before, like, Joanne, you're helping me get so comfortable on camera. Like, I love that you're opening yourself up to be on camera and do this, because it helps to get the word out there about what it is that you do. So now you tutor math and you're adding some reading services to what it is that you do. And you've worked with the Praxis.
Yeah.
Right now, are you working on getting students for your math tutoring business for the summer?
So yeah, I am working on, my ideal client right now. I'm really looking for your elementary school, middle school children, and a mix of high school too. And what I'm doing is, a big one for me is referral. And you're only as strong as your network.
Yeah.
and how I go about that, because people don't necessarily think to refer you. When at first, treat every client like they are a VIP.
Mm-hmm.
And I give them little surprise gifts while I'm working with them, which might be next week when we do our lesson, let's do a little 15-minute add-on on study sessions, or with the praxis, their reporting feature is lacking. So I will actually do a little report for my student on what they can zero in on.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't charge for these things, even though they do have a value, because I want that student to feel like I truly treasure them.
This is such an important thing that I think does not get talked about or discussed. And that is to under promise and over deliver.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
so what most people end up doing is they over promise and they under deliver, and it leaves their client feeling like something's lacking. I was just thinking about this concept this morning, because we have some people working on our kitchen, and some jobs are getting done by certain people, and I was just like, gosh, like this guy told us he was going to get this job done like a week ago, and he's still not back. I'm like, and he wanted to do all these other things inside of our kitchen too. And it's like, okay, I'm kind of glad we didn't ask him to do some of these other things, because I almost feel like I can't rely on him. But what you're doing is very different. You're probably not even telling them about these extra little bonuses that they're going to get, but you kind of base it off of where they're at, and are able to give that to them. And I'm sure that they appreciate that you're going above and beyond what you need to do. And so treating your current clients exactly the way they should be treated, with the utmost respect, with feeling like they're a VIP, like they are so super special. Who wouldn't want to refer a person like that?
Yeah, and it really does make a difference, because I get thanked 3 or 4 times by that person for thinking of them. It might be as simple as, especially with younger children, I might offer free, progress report done on Zoom, instead of me just emailing the parent, where I'll set aside some time to actually talk to them. And they really do appreciate it. And then the other thing I do is you have to ask for the referrals. And that might be, even after I work with a client, some of my shorter term clients, I reach out to them every couple of months, get an update, mention what I'm working on right now with students, and say, if you know anybody, please think of me and mention me.
Yeah.
I do have a referral program where I give anybody that gets referred a discount.
Mm-hmm.
And I also send a gift to the referrer.
Yeah.
Nothing significant, small,
Yeah.
but it's appreciated.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. And I want you guys to remember too that when it comes to referrals, I know that some people are thinking, but I don't have a student. Like, can I utilize referrals? And you utilize referral, like a referral type system, even when you didn't have any students, because you had reached out like through emails and stuff with people, didn't you?
yeah. So a big one was, I did a business announcement to everybody I knew. Just everybody. And this could be, people you went to high school with or college with, people that you interact with. I do some volunteer work, so I always mention what I do. And I feel like the people that you build relationships with want to see you do well.
Yeah.
And so a really big thing, and I actually had a student name drop me to the board of education of the school district he worked for.
Oh,
I have gotten 5 referrals from somebody sitting in an office at that board of education. And
wow.
so, and then I've gotten referrals from referrals.
Yeah.
So it really does start to grow. But the biggest thing is you have to focus on the relationships and really providing world-class service.
Yeah.
you do have to go the extra mile and send that message over and over again that you appreciate them.
All right, we got to get a little deeper here because I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
Creating that message about your business announcement.
Yes.
What thoughts or feelings did you have before you pushed send or you wrote that message?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So there were those imposter feelings, right?
Yeah.
Am I really going to do this? Does anybody care what I'm doing? Am I going to annoy everybody by sending this out? You know, and what it came down to was part of being a business owner and running my tutoring business is I have to put myself out there.
Yes.
And, you know, that you kind of practicing that idea of the year of yes, where I just say yes to opportunities and try things out, put myself out there, feel vulnerable, so important. And that's how growth happens.
Yes.
It's what we ask of our students that are struggling, that we're tutoring, is to put themselves out there and to work through things that are hard and difficult and uncomfortable. So if I expect it from my students, I have to expect it for myself.
And if you want to be of service to more students,
yeah,
you have to face that fear. And then on the other side of fear is success. Now, we may learn, like you may have been like, you may have gotten a bad response from a couple people. Did you get a bad response from a couple people?
Not at all.
No, not one. Okay, well, that's cool.
Was really cool. A number of people were like, I always thought of you as this like librarian, information, gatherer, teacher type person. So I got some really great feedback.
So they all lifted you up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really, I think that's really important because we talk about referrals all the time, but then there's those people that like, they're just out of the gate and they're like, well, I don't have anybody that could refer me. I don't know anybody with kids, but you know what? If you know people, they know people, and those people may have kids. And so it is a great opportunity to just reach out and let people know what it is that you're doing. I had family members that started referring me, and then every family member that had a kid that was struggling, they're like, all right, they started raising their hand, right? They're like, oh, can you help so-and-so with this? And can you help so-and-so with this? Sure, absolutely. Let's sit down, figure out where they're at, and let's move forward. And it's a great way. It's a great strategy, and it works. Awesome. Now, Allie, when you started tutoring because you have your two beautiful twin girls that are taking a nap right now, and you started tutoring in your home. What are some things that you started doing to get clients in your home?
Yeah. So as Lisa was talking, I was trying to think, I was like, a lot of the similar things that she was saying apply to me, but even with, because I didn't have a lot of students at the beginning, right? I started from zero.
Yeah, we all did. We all start at zero.
Right. And
not everybody.
So when I was a teacher, I left the classroom because of my babies. And I reached out to my friends that were still teaching at the school. And I said, do any of you know any of your students that might be interested in, like, at the time, summer tutoring? If so, I would love if you would, refer them to me. And that is how I got a couple of students and started building. Another thing I did was I put out, because we had moved into a new home in a neighborhood. So we weren't like renting a condo anymore. So I really felt like I could create some real relationships with these neighbors. And I started putting out ads in the neighborhood newsletter. So that's how I got several people, actually. And my name kind of started to go around the neighborhood, which was exciting. And most recently, I got a student through a referral. So it was my first one ever. It's like, oh my gosh, somebody referred me. And it was really, really exciting. So so that was great.
You know what's even more exciting was that I was there when that happened. Yeah. So we were on a live call. We were doing a group coaching call, and all of a sudden at the end of the call, your eyes are like, holy, like what? What just happened? And we're all like, what? And she's like, I just got a referral. Yeah. I have a student asking for my services right now, and I think it's a referral.
So I was confused. I was like, not really confused, like in disbelief. I was like, whoa, somebody would do that. So, but Lisa's right. You do have to ask, and you do have to kind of put yourself out there, and it is uncomfortable. Like, and I feel like I'm even getting better on camera. When Joanne asked me to do this, I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. But I still get nervous. So it's just about putting yourself out there, and the more you do it, the more comfortable you get.
Yeah, absolutely. This is great. This is a great forum for people to kind of like practice getting out there and being known, because that online presence is absolutely huge. When it comes to it, if people find videos and that kind of stuff where you're at, they can kind of get a feel for who you are and like where's your authenticity level, and are you passionate about what it is that you do? And there's no doubt that anybody who would see like a replay of this would be able to see that Lisa and Alexa both have a lot of passion for what they do, and they're excited to be able to help kids and serve them, which is so cool. Now, I want to know from you guys, we're going to be talking more about some strategies that are working, but I want to know from you guys, what are the strategies that are working for you right now for getting students? So type on in all the strategies that are working for you, because I think we can all work together on this and like really brainstorming the different things. All right. So Allie, you have recently put up a flyer.
Yes, I did.
An absolutely horrible experience.
Yeah.
Let's bring it on out there, because you know what? These things are going to happen, and then it leads to these thoughts inside of our head. Yes. And then it stops us from taking action. But we're not going to let Alexa go there, right, Alexa? We're not going to do that. So Alexa, tell us what happened.
So first of all, thank God I have you, Joanne, and this group, because that is the reason why I'm going to go put up another one at the same location. So I put up a flyer at what's called Sweet Frog. Sweet Frog is a frozen yogurt place, and there's one just like on the outskirt of my neighborhood. So I put up like a bunch around town, but sometimes it's hard to like find places where they'll actually let you put one up, and luckily they let me. So to preface this, there is a high school across the street from this location, so this Sweet Frog, and that'll come into play. And so I go in to check on my flyer because I wanted to get some frozen yogurt the other day. It was like a hot day in Maryland, is where I am, and I was like, let me just check and like see if it's still there, like if maybe if it's getting noticed, I don't know. And I saw that somebody had written on my flyer. So they had actually like gone to the extent of trying to, what it seemed like to me, like correcting my grammar. So like little words that I had said, like one of them was like the word they crossed out and said like he/she. It was a flyer to talk about my reading tutoring business. And I was crushed. I was absolutely crushed. It was after like, so I'm with my girls all morning into the like early afternoon, have dropped them off, coming back to like my house so I can tutor my few students that I had that afternoon, checked on the thing, and it just like crushed me for like the rest of the night. And I asked my husband, I was like, can you go take down the flyer? Because I like should have done that when I was there, but I just was so embarrassed I left and didn't even get me frozen yogurt. So, can you just like go do that? And he did. But he was like, Allie, it's probably a high schooler from across the street that came in to get a frozen yogurt and was like trying to be funny to their friends or something. Like, go put up another one. It's fine. But it crushed me. I was so embarrassed. I was like, what if this was like a parent from the neighborhood that like thinks I'm like worthless and doesn't want me like to be successful in my business or, what have you. So I haven't put up another one yet, but I'm going to go do it today.
Yeah. Good. No, Lisa, have you used flyers at all?
I haven't done the flyer. No, I did do flyers right at the beginning, but I had them in the wrong spots.
Okay.
So I had one in the gym
that
I go to, and I had one at the farmer's market.
Okay.
And I was getting calls where it seemed like people thought it was free, or I got a few like strange calls. And I was like, okay, these are not the clients that I'm aiming for.
Right.
So and honestly, there's so many different options. So I was getting traction with other options. So I kind of just let it sit to the side.
Yeah.
I am thinking about putting some flyers out, but it's super interesting how even though, you know, they corrected Allie's flyer, they didn't say anything bad about her. But immediately our minds go right to, this is so personal. And then our mind just runs with it. And it's somebody's mad. They don't want me to be successful. And those negative thoughts, they can really defeat us if we let them, you
They
know?
really can.
Yeah.
So true. It's very gut wrenching too. It's almost like somebody is like stabbing us like in the heart, and they're just like turning that little knife and turning it. And it's like, okay, really? They were just suggesting that I put he or she versus they.
And it could have been a joke, you know, amongst a couple of younger students. Who knows?
It could, and who knows? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
you know, there are two ways to phrase that specific thing. You know, they is just a very general thing, so that you're not constantly writing he, she throughout all of your content, or maybe you choose a gender, or maybe you just use the word they. I mean, that's kind of like common these days. So it's not like this mistake that, you know, is so huge. And it doesn't go against you, but I hear this all the time from people. Like when I say something not grammatically correct, I have somebody say, and you're a reading tutor, all the time. And I'm like, yes, I am. You know anyone who's struggling with reading? And I just move on, because it's like, and I'm human. You know, and there's that piece of it too. So yeah, we have a lot of thoughts that go through our head, and we have to be able to like analyze them and say, is that true? Is that true? Is it true that a parent could have made that fixing of that error? Is that true?
Yeah, it could have happened.
No.
Absolutely. And when I like had the time to like be like, it's okay. Like, it's okay. I thought about it, and I was like, oh, did I make a mistake? Like maybe I did. And like, awesome. Thanks for like helping me out. I appreciate that. Cause like I've got little kids pulling at me all the time. And I was probably writing that flyer when my daughters were at my feet. So, you know, so it's like, I think when you can remove yourself a little bit, it does, you can like analyze it, like you said, Joanne, and see, oh, like maybe I did make a mistake. Like, thanks. I appreciate that. Yep. Instead of really like taking it so personally, because I definitely can do that, because I feel like I have a fear of putting myself out there. And that's where that stems back to. I'm like, oh, well, I shouldn't have done that. Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not, you know, it was good to put yourself out there, and somebody's trying to help.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you guys, like, you'll find it a lot on social media too, that because you are a tutor or a teacher, people are almost evaluating us at a higher level than they expect other people because of what we do. And so I have enabled a tool called Grammarly that can take a look at what I am writing as well inside of my social media posts. So if you don't have that like enabled, you guys definitely check it out and enable it, because it's really, really awesome tool to just allow you to be able to look and think, because a lot of us, like, we are typing things on in so quickly, we don't look at it, and then we've pressed send, and then we reread it and we're like, wait, did autocorrect have a play in this? Like, what happened there? Like, that's not even what I wrote. And then you have to go back and you have to edit it, but like Grammarly will catch some of that stuff beforehand for you, so that that's not the issue for you. So that definitely does help. And we've got Susan Franklin now in the house, and Maria. Woo woo, awesome. So glad that you guys are both with us today. Awesome. And Sindhu said that she can totally relate to this, because she said, it really doesn't matter. I get simple multiplication wrong at times and get asked, oh, so you have a degree in mathematics? So it's like, it's just like, because we have this degree, or because people have this persona of us, we're not allowed to make mistakes. And sometimes people's being able to see our mistakes as okay, and just admit like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe that even happened, and move on. But yeah, it is really great to have the attitude of, I'm glad that somebody caught that so I can fix that and move forward.
Yeah. And the way we react really sets the tone. So whenever, because I mean, especially tutoring math, you will, you know, think something and say a different number, or write the wrong number. So I always thank the person for catching it. And I'll say, you're doing so great. You're catching this. And if a parent ever says anything, I do explain to them that when you're tutoring, you're thinking on multiple levels. So you're having to calculate, you're having to evaluate, and then plan as it's happening, you know, and I say it's actually quite difficult to do. And sometimes you'll make a little computation error. I actually use them as teaching devices. So, but I find that saying, thank you for catching that, you know, I really want it to be right. So by you bringing attention to it, I get to make it right. And then I just move on.
Yeah.
You know, and that sets the tone. So
yeah. Absolutely.
Let it go.
Absolutely. But it's also like educating them too, like as well at the same time, which is pretty cool. And instead of letting it all get to you and really affect you and all that kind of stuff. What are some other things that have been working for you guys to be able to get students?
So,
oh, I'm sorry, Lisa, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
I got a student recently through, I was just going to say, tutors.com. I was hoping that the program would be a little bit better. I haven't had anybody kind of since. So it doesn't seem like it might like be a consistent, like great thing like Thumbtack was or something like when like I needed a student and I, you know, happened to respond to their request and ended up working out. So that was great. And he's a little boy struggling with reading and it worked out. So I'm able to help him, which is awesome.
That's awesome. That's super awesome. And you've been getting some more students in the door. How have they been finding you, Allie?
Yeah, so I had my tutors.com, I had my referral, which was my latest one. And then I actually posted something in a Facebook group and ended up getting a client that way. So those were like my latest 3, which was really exciting.
That is exciting. And you're just 2 away from being at your book solid.
It's crazy. I'm like, whoa, I have been like, just like trying, you know, what feels like for so long to get to that place. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm almost there. And it's possible that some may drop off and, you know, I have to keep that in mind, but it'll, you know, they'll fill back up so I'm just really excited about where I am with it.
Awesome. And Lisa, you're going to mention some things that are working for you.
So tutors.com, I actually was able to get one of my favorite clients. And I find that the leads that are contacting me, like beyond me reaching out and putting out my quote, they're warmed up. It's interesting because they don't really know me yet, but it's more about the situation with the student, what, you know, I can do for the student. And I felt like price was, you know, farther down the list in terms of making their decision, which I thought was really great. So Craigslist also, I've had some really great referrals from that. And, you know, people that I love working with, the conversations that I've had with students, and I still have a few in the mix that are holding off until the school year ends. But I felt like they were ready to hire a tutor, that they were really interested in what I had to offer. So it wasn't just, what do you charge? And that's all I want to know. You know, they really wanted to discuss it. So I thought that was really wonderful. I didn't feel like I was wasting my time by talking to them or anything like that. So referrals, Craigslist, tutors.com. I've had some success with Tutor Z. But not where I could, you know, be like, okay, I need a student. Tutor Z is the place to do it. It's a little inconsistent and you don't really have control over, you know, how many people are going to contact you. I mean, but that lead that referred me to that school district that resulted on all those students came from Tutor Z. And I feel like I only paid like $2 for the lead. Yeah. So
you just never know like where one student can come from and where it's going to lead.
Right. Absolutely. So yeah, for me though, the referrals is really And that's a strategy that can really make a difference, because as it starts to grow, you have potential students coming in that aren't the result of you having to pay to get them or working to put content out.
Right.
I've gotten students from Facebook. I've gotten students from Instagram, from Pinterest. But those are strategies where you have to put in the work long term.
Yeah.
And, consistently. So
Right.
they're a great for someday.
You bring up such a good point, because there are strategies that we can apply today to start getting students. And then there are strategies that we have to think about the long-term plan so that we can start getting more people from all around the world finding us and just hiring us. And so I'm at that point now where I don't have to put out any advertising whatsoever. 9 years into my tutoring business, I have enough content online that people still continue to find me and still fill out my registration form or are referring me. Like, it built up so much to the point where that is on autopilot because I took the time to put those pieces into place. And I'm not using those strategies anymore, right? Like, it was something like I put into place for a few years, and then I was able to stop doing it because I was booked solid, and then it just kept going. And so then I would like post once in a while. So I didn't have to be as active or like constantly putting myself out there in order to, create that for myself. And so I think it's really important. There are those strategies you can try right now, strategies that are long-term. Like, I really am going to grow this business thing, and I would love for people to find me accidentally, or what feels like accidentally, right? It's not, you're putting in a lot of time into that method, but it's gonna save you so much more money. It's going to make you money on the back end. It doesn't make you money on the front end. And I think that's really the important thing to really think about, because a lot of people think about, well, I want students now, and I want to know that one thing that's going to get me students. So when people say that, I want to know that one thing that's going to get me students, what would your response be to that?
I would really go with, let everybody know that you do this. And get out there and meet even more people.
Yeah.
Participate in your community, participate online. You really truly can make friends online. Because I've done it.
I consider you guys friends.
Yeah, absolutely. And just keep meeting people and building relationships, and that makes a difference. And if you're at the very beginning, find somebody and do it for free to get the word out there. Improve your craft, figure out what works. And that's a person that can now refer you and say, my child was working with Lisa. This is what she was able to do. So I feel like in the beginning, I had a couple of students that I was one step before not charging. It was barely at a cost to the parent. But it gave me the experience so that I could confidently say, I am a tutor. This is what I can do.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say to that? Like, if someone were like, what's the one thing, if I could just try one thing to get students, what would it be?
Yeah, well, first of all, Lisa, that's great advice. Like, I feel like that's really what I would say too. Not just to kind of like have that cop out, but like really, I agree. And one of the things that I did when I was sort of getting started was there's this teacher that used to teach a long time ago at my elementary school, and then she became like the neighborhood tutor she was really like awesome with math. But she also did some reading. And I contacted her after like somebody had reminded me that was like either wrapping up or had just retired from doing her tutoring and from teaching. And I met with her for lunch. So I was like, hi, like, I don't even know if you remember me, but I was like one of your students way back when. And she was like, oh my gosh, I totally remember you. So she was so sweet. She, myself and my twins went and met her for lunch at Panera in our area. And I bought her lunch and kind of picked her brain. And we talked about different strategies that would work and you know, what I could do to improve my business and what worked for her and all that good stuff. And she actually went back and referred or let some teachers that are still working at the elementary school know that I was doing this, and I got a student out of that. So, you know, just like going off of what Lisa said, but remembering, like, who do you know that could help you in this, you know, with this endeavor, and how, and they're going to want to help you because they like, you know, they're going to want to see you be successful. So, it's just kind of an example to go off of what Lisa had said.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want you guys thinking about who is it that you know, and start writing down. I want you to write down like 20 names of people that you know that you think have a connection with people who do have kids that could be really powerful for you. When I did this exercise, you guys, I really hadn't thought about it. And so when I did the exercise, I really like put in my brain, like, okay, I know all of these different teachers, cool, but I'm not really connected with them anymore. Like, I don't even know where to find them. And can I find them even on like social media and that kind of stuff? I'm not sure. And are they my ideal client, the people that they know? Not really, because I worked in an inner city school. So I'm like, okay, well, I know that the students that I worked with at my school can't afford the prices that I'm charging. So who do I know? And I started brainstorming, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the third grade teacher that was right next door to me, her husband owns the Learning Shop. Let's sit down and chat. Now, the Learning Shop here in Wisconsin is the #1 store in Wisconsin. And I started thinking about how I could be of service to him and inviting him for a conversation to find out, like, what are you guys up to? What are you working on? Like, what are some big things that you're trying to accomplish? And of course, then he naturally started asking me what it was that I was doing and what I was trying to accomplish. And then we came up with a plan on how we could collaborate on some social media projects. And he allowed me to post, to put flyers, but not regular flyers. Like I created they were the rectangle ones that you can just put like in like a sleeve, not a sleeve, but like one of those standing stands inside of there. And I ended up getting clients from that. So you just never know. Like so seriously, like dive deep, guys, and think about who it is that you know, because these relationships and these people, they do want to help you, but also remember that it's not about you at the end of the day. Think about how you can be of service to them. Is there anything that you can help them with? Like, right? Because otherwise people kind of go on into it feeling like you're using them, right? And you don't want to leave that taste or that feel, but think about, is there something we could collaborate on together? Is there something I could help them with, you know, in exchange or anything? And these are great things, even when we're reaching out online to influencers or other people who have audiences that are just like us. It's the exact same strategy of really thinking about how can I be of service to that person and add value to them versus what can I take from them. And I think that, you know, we're so excited about our businesses and we want to let everybody in the world know, which is awesome. And remember, but we actually truly care about the people in our network, right? And it's not about extrapolating something from them, but continuing to reach out, connect, find out how things are going, and, you know, have honest relationships and conversations with people, which is great. And Margarita wanted to know how many students you currently have right now, Alexa.
Oh, when I think about it in terms of like hours. So I have 10 hours and I want to fill 12 hours is like my max that I can do right now with like my kids and everything. And 2 of my students are twice a week. So
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, because sometimes, like, you know, we could take a look at how many students we have, but they don't all have the same amount of time for actual tutoring sessions. So thinking about it in hours is a good idea. And when you're trying to think about like how many students do I need, I just kind of like do the average when I try to figure it out, right? If I want to work 20 hours, I need 20 students. But, you know, some students might do 2 hours, some students might do, you know, only a half hour a week because they really just don't need a lot. So that's really helpful to put in place and know.
Yeah, no, and it's just with like the limited time that I have, I kind of had to think about it in hours and kind of go through that business plan and figure out, well, how much do I want to be making from doing this? And and realistically, like, what can I do without like making myself crazy? So, so that's why I think about it like that.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I want you to know, I know like there are things that just hold us back, those thoughts, those feelings, all that kind of stuff. What do you use to inspire and motivate you when you don't want to take action? You just don't feel like doing it today.
Yeah. It's a great thought. So side note, but like we're getting into temper tantrums with my 1.5-year-old, one of them. And yesterday was one of those days where I was just like, oh my gosh, I do not feel like tutoring after dealing with Caroline all day. Like I just don't. And I think I'm just like so driven. Like people are like, you have twins. Why do you want to do this? Because I love helping the kids. I love it. And even my husband says like, don't you want to like just call your max like 10 hours? Like you're good, you're there. Like, no, because I want to like, I know I can do 12. That's my goal. I can get there. And I want to help the kids at the end of the day because I love it. Like I've never had a job like that I've loved so much.
Yeah. And do you feel like it gives you an opportunity to take a break from being
yes.
mom?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it gives me another identity. It's like I'm not mom all day. I'm like a business owner and I love building my own business. And you know, helping the kids obviously. So, and it's important that I have that. So like right now we have a nanny and she takes care of the kids for Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. And then my mom and dad help on the other days. And because it's just so important. Otherwise I just couldn't, like, I don't know, it would be bad. So it's important to have that other side of myself.
Yeah. I needed that too. I'm just like you. I needed that too. Like I love my kids and I wanted to be with my kids. And that's why I built this business, was so that I could be more present for my kids. But there were times when I like had to leave and tutor, and I actually felt like really grateful to have the opportunity to do that, because I was like, okay, now I get to dive in over here. And even if I was like worn out there, I felt like I was already refreshed right here.
Yes,
like
I think it does do that. It was
more excited than I came into the session, and then I'd come on back and I'm like a completely different mom for my kids, like one that's happy, excited, and fulfilled.
That's the same. It's so funny because that's exactly how I feel. I'll come upstairs and be like, hi guys. And I left and I was like, like, you know, so it does, it refreshes you.
Yeah. Like that mommy tank is filled. I feel like I was of service to somebody who is not constantly screaming and yelling at me. And, and now I can come back to you and hopefully you're refreshed. Like you needed a timeout from me too. So
works for everyone.
No, for sure. Lisa, what inspires and motivates you when you don't feel like taking action?
So for me, I think in stories, and learning other people's stories where they are very vulnerable and lay it all out and talk about how they didn't think they could do it. They were scared to do it, but they did it anyway. Those are really motivating for me. I'm very big on mindset. So I try and set intentions for myself, and try and pump myself up. Good old music can help me sometimes, you know, if I'm not like, I just don't have the energy, and I will put on some music and get myself in the mood and just really try and it's pushing through that tough part, you know, that inaction. That's the hardest part, is getting past that point where you're not doing it. So I'll try anything I can.
Yeah.
You know, if one thing doesn't work that on Tuesday, it might work Thursday, right? So I just keep cycling through different ideas until I can motivate myself. Accountability can help. You know, telling someone else you're going to do something is very motivating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And really just feeling like I am not the only one feeling this way right now.
Yeah.
That a lot of other people that are trying to do what I'm doing, they don't want to do it. They don't want to hit record or press send, you know. So that removes that, how am I going to do it? And it's, well, how do you all do it, you know? So that's a big one for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, okay, like if that person was able to get through that fear and push play or send, I can too. And I can move through it. And I think hearing other people's stories and having people talk about this kind of stuff, because it's one thing to be like, yes, this strategy works, but like that's only half of it. Like using these strategies is only half the battle. The other half of the battle is all inside of here. It's right inside of between our own ears and what we're telling ourselves. So if we go and we try a strategy and we're like, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work. And then they put a flyer out just because they're like, well, everybody else says it's work, but it's not going to work. Or I'm not going to be able to find any places where I can actually put my flyer. It's not going to work. If that is what's going on here, I'm a huge believer, you guys, and what you think comes true. And so if you are putting that thought out there, guess what's going to happen? It's just not going to work for you. Most likely you haven't even like formatted your flyer in a way that is going to work. So it's not going to work. And so we do have to take a look at some of that kind of stuff and realize the first time we put something out there, it may not work. That doesn't mean it doesn't work.
Right.
It means that we need to find a way to make it work or continue to find other ways that could work. And I found that my students kind of trickled in from all these different places. They never all came from one spot. It would have been really easy if they did come from all one spot, because then I could just focus all my time and energy there. But they just seemed to trickle from all these different things that I was trying. So trying as many things as you possibly can is definitely going to help you guys when it comes to your business. So I'm curious, you guys are both part of the Insider Secrets Club. The doors are not open at this point in time. They won't open until June because we're reformatting everything. But at this point in time, like, has the Insider Secrets Club helped you guys as you're building your business? And, you know, do you get ideas from there? Like, what's been the experience for you?
So for me, one of the biggest things, I've made so many connections and built relationships with so many of the other members. And I, in addition to also you were so active in the community. And having that support and those other people you can get feedback from or cheerlead for when they're going through something difficult, celebrate your successes with, because, going into the kitchen and talking to your spouse about a win you had in tutoring, probably not that exciting. But if you're talking to someone else that's going through what you're going through and understands our business, it's so much more fulfilling to talk to that person about it than someone that doesn't really know enough about it.
Yeah, because I usually get this kind of response. Oh, that's great, honey. Good job.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, and you might be like, oh man, I was kind of hoping for a boom shot. No.
Right. And then there's, the different calls that you have, where each one has a different theme. And, it might be group coaching or tech or Q&A, or even the new one that you have where you have, the members that are new to the community, where we work on every week, we have a different focus. So important. And I've gotten so much out of it. So really just a wonderful experience, has definitely added to my confidence, which is so important, because if we're not exuding confidence, no one's going to want to work with us.
They don't.
And
then they blame it on your price.
Right. So being more confident, having this influx of ideas, being on the pulse of what's happening in our industry, what's working, what's not working, getting that feedback, on your specific content it's so great. So really happy to have joined and happy to be a part of the community.
I know. And some people are just like, why are they talking about this community that I can't even join? Well, we're going to be releasing a new video series June 10th, and you're going to get to learn all about how to put your business on autopilot, because that's the ultimate goal, right? Like, we want these students to come on in. We want our processes to be like in place so that we can run this business, but almost at the same time to a point where we can remove ourselves and focus on the tutoring and not so much on the processes. But I am going to tell you, it does take time to put these processes into place, right? It's not like this is an automatic, like overnight thing and then boom, like all these people are coming on in, but it will feel like that 2 years down the road. If you've put these pieces into place, it is going to feel like everything is on autopilot because you have everything exactly in place and you feel like you're hardly even working to try to get students anymore. Like they're just coming on in and you've got all the referrals going and all that great stuff. Now, Allie, what has your experience been like with the Insider Secrets Club, and how has it helped you with being able to grow your confidence or grow your business?
It's been literally amazing. Like when I was teaching, I always knew I liked to tutor because I did it with like 1 student or 2 students after school.
Mm-hmm.
So then when my daughters were born, I was like, how can I continue to teach, but in a way that's going to work and not be in a classroom all day, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just not going to work with the flexibility that I need with my kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I was looking around and I was trying to figure out like, are there tutors? Like, can you tutor for a living? Like, how does this work? Come to find out, you can. And I found Miss Lovely Joanne. So it was amazing when I came across your community and I realized, wow, you really can do this for a living. You can tutor kids in other time zones. So like when I get to that point, I'll be able to work during the days and not just in the evenings, which I never even thought was a possibility. We were talking about inspiring, what inspires you. Every time I get off a call, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do these 10 things today. But like, it is super inspiring. And I think more than anything for me, it's building relationships, like Lisa said, because it's so easy to feel like alone and lonely in this. At least it is for me.
Yeah.
And I don't feel alone anymore because I feel like I have friends and I get to see them every day and I get to think we're all have the same goals or very similar goals. So those people hold you accountable. And I don't know. I could go on and on all day about how much I love.
And speaking of feeling like you have friends, like Allie and I are heading out to Cape Coral this weekend.
So excited.
With our friend Yvette, who is inside of here as well right now, destined to shine.
Oh, hi.
We are just going to get together and be able to hang and really be able to work on our funnels and focus on business and fun and pleasure all like combined in one perfect little package. So,
and it's my first business trip. I'm telling my husband, I'm like, I'm so excited. Not if I was still teaching in the classroom, I would not be going on business trips. So this is awesome.
This is awesome. And isn't this like part of the reason why we want to do what we want to do? Like some of us, we really do want to like travel and not have to worry about only traveling when it's convenient for the school system.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, to be able to travel whenever we want to and be able to do things and not be tied and held down. And here we can take our business with us and do it. It's so amazing and so wonderful. All right. So now I want you to think about like that person that is watching us right now who is struggling to take action. What advice can you guys give that person?
Mine would be to start watching, well, I guess it depends on where you are in your business, but mine would be to start watching your beginners calls. I'm like been doing this for like a year and a half and I'm doing the beginners calls because there's pieces of my business that I don't have exactly as I want, like foundational pieces of my business. Mm-hmm. And it's really been helping me to have a clear path and to know exactly what actions to take next. Because for a long time I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much to this. Like, where do I go? And I would just sit here and like not do anything because I was so overwhelmed. So that is fantastic. And I've loved it. And it's really helped me to actually take action because somebody's telling me this is what you do. And this is when you do it.
Yeah. You know what? And that's why I redesigned. So those of you who are like, I want to get in, I've redesigned the program so that there are 5 steps. There's 5 steps that you take. Here's the first step you take, and then here's the actions you need to take. Here's the second step, and here are the actions you need to take. Here's the third step. Here are the actions that you need to take. And so if you were to just go through and watch all of those videos, you would have all of the basic pieces in place for your online tutoring business. Everything you could possibly think of. And I've thought of everything that you could possibly think of probably more so than what you've even thought of, because I've been through the process and I've been coaching people through the last 7 years on how to go through this process. I have finally just now, though, put it all together so it has every single piece that you need to be successful. And I'm getting lots of really great feedback from inside the community, like, wow, like I know exactly where to find, what to do, and what to focus on. And it's been so much fun being able to really reorganize the content in that way. Lots of new videos are in there that I'm just creating on the fly. Like, okay, I know that they need to know this, and let me put this in right here. And I create that, upload it, and we're ready to go.
It's so helpful. It's been so helpful. So
along with the new beginner's call. The beginner's call is for those people that just walk in the door. So if you decide to join us in June, when I open the doors again, there's going to be a space for you to get started. And it doesn't matter if you are just getting started in your tutoring business or you've been there for a while. It's really a beginner's call for anybody who's getting started with us, because that way you're going to be able to learn the lingo. You're going to be able to learn like what pieces we've put in place so that we can get found and have that strong funnel for being able to get students. So it's a place where all levels of people can get value from it, like you were mentioning.
Mm-hmm. And Lisa, you're in there too.
I am. It's funny because, you know, I feel like I'm just starting my fourth year of tutoring as a business.
Right.
And even though that's been a couple of years, there are some foundational pieces that weren't completely developed for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it does make life harder.
Yeah.
Having those foundations. So I am part of those calls right now too. And really seeing a difference, even just almost instantaneously by having those pieces. I particularly love how we tap into the empathy chart for our ideal client.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives you the language from the marketing and for the
Mm-hmm.
website and for your content. So, and just that one little thing could make a huge difference in your business.
Absolutely.
So my advice for somebody getting started, I know you can't get into insider secrets right now, but what you can do is you can go to Joanne's channel, and she has all her videos organized by topic. She tends to do things in series. I know there's a whole series on, you know, mistakes we make, I believe.
Yep. 29 mistakes online tutors make. Yep.
And I would just start from the beginning and watch through, but do it with a notebook and take notes and make checklists and start working on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the Insider Secrets opens up, I would definitely consider signing up and getting into that beginner's call. And you know, the more you show up and the more you engage with the content, the more you get out of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
my goal is definitely not to have that person who wants to passively watch and not engage. It is about a community and building a community and being part of a community of people who have like-minded goals like you do. There are people that do, though, they do like to sit back and watch for a little while, and that's totally cool. Those people are absolutely welcome, and you can do that, because I do all of these calls that are live. There's replays and you can watch those. So if I'm extremely introverted. I know that like lots of people don't believe me when I tell them. They think I'm lying, but I'm not. I'm extremely introverted. So for me, I do like to sit back and watch things for a little while before I decide I'm comfortable enough to just jump on in and come on in. And so there's a space for all kinds of people, whether you feel like you're more like that or not. You definitely can get value from it. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for joining us today and sharing what's working for you. I think it's so important, like the tips that you guys gave about referrals, even if you are not at this point in time, have any students, that strategy can still work for you. So that's really, really cool. And I think lots of people should watch it even just for that piece of it. So thanks for joining us, everybody. You enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.